Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level video on academic language, and today we're going to be talking about asking for permission. So what are some reasons that you might need to ask a question in school? Well, here, this student looks like maybe she's having trouble hearing the teacher, and so she might be asking the teacher to repeat the question. This young man looks like maybe he needs to go to the restroom, so he's going to ask if he can go to the restroom. And this young woman looks like she may be confused, so she might need to ask the teacher to explain the topic again. So to create questions, remember that the subject and the verb switch places in questions. So we start with the question word and then do, does, or did, depending on whether it's a present tense or a past tense question, then the subject, then the verb, and then the object if there is one. So when does the class begin? So we got the question word is when, does, the subject is class, and begin is the verb. You could also have the structure of the question word plus a form of the verb to be and then the subject. So where is the classroom? Where is the question word? Is the present simple form of to be, and classroom is the subject. And then another format would be the question word plus a modal verb like should, can, could, may, and might, then the subject, then the verb. So can I use the bathroom? This one is a yes or no question, so it doesn't have a question word. It just starts with the modal verb can, and then we have the subject and then the verb use. This one has the question word what, should is the modal, and then the subject I, and the main verb do. Okay, so unscramble the words to create questions. So I can't see. So the question, put these up here so you can see. Can I move closer to the board? I'm thirsty. Can I get a drink of water? I don't understand. Could you give us another example? And number 4, I forgot my textbook. Do you mind if I share yours? So asking for permission. So the most common modal verbs to ask for permission are can, could, and may. So can is informal. Can I sit here? Yes, you can, or no, you can't sit here. If you say no, it's considered polite to give a reason why. And so what is a reason that a student might not be able to sit somewhere? Well, if someone else is already sitting there and they just got up for a moment, so you might say something like, no, I'm sorry, John is already sitting there, he'll be back in a moment. Now, if you want to be more polite, you could use could instead of can. Could I use this chair? Yes, you can, or no, you can't. So the answer uses can or can't, not could or couldn't. So just to be aware of that. And then the most formal is may. May I change my seat? Yes, you may change your seat. Sorry, you may not change your seat. And just a note here that there is no contraction for may not. It's always may not. All right, so practice asking for permission. Um, so read these situations and then ask a question. You can try this on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So you won't be at school on Friday when your assignment is due. So ask the teacher if you can hand in the assignment on Monday morning. So the question would be, can I hand in my assignment on Monday morning? Number two, you're planning to go on vacation with your family in 2 weeks. Ask your teacher if you can have the classwork that you will miss during your vacation. So you might ask something like, could I please have the classwork for the next 2 weeks? You need to use the bathroom. Ask your teacher if you can go. So, may I use the restroom? You forgot to bring your textbook to class. Ask a classmate if you could share with them. So, I forgot my textbook. Could I share yours? You forgot a pen. Ask the teacher if she can lend you one to use in the class. So, I'm sorry, I forgot my pen. Could you please lend me one? All right, so now we're going to talk about borrow and lend. So to lend means to give something to someone to be used for a period of time and then returned. So the person lending something owns it and is letting someone else use it. To borrow means to take and use something that belongs to someone else for a period of time and then return it. So this girl says, can I borrow your pen? And the other girl says, sure, I could lend this to you. So now you're going to complete each sentence with either lend or lent. Lent is the past tense of lend, or borrow or borrowed. And this is what's known as a scantron. It's a way that tests, I'm not sure if tests are still done this way, but students would mark their answers on this card, and then the card is sent through a computer reader to grade the exams. All right, so again, you're going to fill in these blanks with either lend, lent, borrow, or borrowed. Pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number one, could I borrow a piece of paper? The teacher has a container filled with pens which she lends to students when they forget one. I lent my notes to a classmate so he could copy them, but he lost them. How many books are we allowed to borrow from the library? The teacher lends the students number 2 pencils when there is a standardized test with a scantron. All right, now we're going to talk about some ways to respond to requests. So there are many ways that a teacher or a classmate can respond to a request. So here we have some examples. Excuse me, can I get a drink of water? Sure, go ahead. May I close the window, please? Of course. So now take a look at these and decide if the request is for a teacher or for a classmate. and then reply using one of the responses. So you can maybe make a dialogue um, asking some um, asking for permission or making some requests, and then practice answering with these responses. All right, so now you're going to practice by completing each rule with can or can't and a verb from the list below. And just to note that one verb is used 2 times. So go ahead, pause the video and try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number 1, you can't use your cell phone during class. You can't leave the classroom without asking the teacher for permission. You can submit an assignment for extra credit. It's a great way to increase your grade. You can't sit anywhere. You must sit in your assigned seat. You can arrive late to class 1 time and only receive a warning. You can't leave the school building during a free period. And you can't wear clothing that has inappropriate language on it. Now, we use the phrase be allowed to talk about something that we are permitted to do. And the sentence structure with the subject I would be either I am or I am not or I'm not allowed to, and then the infinitive form of the verb. With he, she, or it would be he, she, or it is or is not or isn't allowed to something. And we, they, and you, we use are not, or aren't, plus allowed to plus the infinitive. So here's an example. Students are allowed to bring cell phones from school. So here we have the subject, are, and then allowed to, and then bring is the infinitive form of the verb. And then students are not allowed to use cell phones during class. So this is something that they are allowed to do. This is something that they are not allowed to do. So you can practice by creating 2 sentences about something that you are and aren't allowed to do in your school. All right, so now complete these classroom rules based on rules at your school. And you can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. And you might have different answers. It depends on the rules at your particular school. I'll complete these based on what were rules in my school when I went to school, but those might be different today. Okay, so students can't chew gum in the classroom. Students can't wear baseball hats in the classrooms. Students can use the bathroom if they ask permission. Students can choose their seats in the classroom. Students can't leave the classroom before the bell rings. And now they'd like you to complete a sentence about this picture. Alex is on crutches and his classmate Johannes is walking with him. What do you think Alex is allowed to do? All right, now we're going to talk about as long as and unless, and that can be used to add extra details to rules. So as long as has a similar meaning to if that we saw in the last video. So students are allowed to bring cell phones to school as long as they stay in their backpacks during the day. Unless means if not. Students are not allowed to bring cell phones to school unless they turn them off and keep them in their backpacks all day. And we don't use future forms with unless or as long as. So students are not allowed to arrive late to class unless they have a pass. Students are allowed to arrive late to class as long as they have a pass. So now you're going to practice with as long as and unless. So we're going to change each sentence to use unless. So here's the example. You can go to the bathroom as long as you ask the teacher for permission. And then to change that, you would have to say you can't go to the bathroom unless you ask the teacher for permission. So go ahead and pause the video and try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, students can receive credit for homework as long as they turn it in by the end of the day. Students can't, oops, there's no apostrophe. Students can't receive credit for homework unless they turn it in by the end of the day. Students can wear any clothing they want to school as long as it doesn't have appropriate language on it. Students can't wear any clothing that they want to school unless it doesn't have, this should be can't, inappropriate language on it. Students can work with a partner as long as each partner does 50% of the work. So students can't work with a partner unless each partner does 50% of the work. Students will receive full credit as long as they show all their work in their answer. So students won't receive full credit unless they show all their work in their answer. All right, so now we're going to go the other way, and you're going to change each sentence from using unless to as long as. So again, you can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So projects won't be accepted late unless the student was absent from class. So here, projects will be accepted late as long as the student was absent from class. Students must not sell anything on campus unless it is connected to a school activity and approved by school information. So students can sell things on campus as long as they are connected to a school activity. The gym and music room are closed during lunch unless you have written permission to go there. The gym and music room are open during lunch as long as you have written permission. Students can't attend the field trip unless their parents or guardians have a signed permission slip. So students can attend the field trip as long as their parents or guardians have a signed permission slip. Students may not leave school property during the school day, unless they are seniors. Students may leave school property during the school day as long as they are seniors. All right, so imagine that you are the school principal and you want to create your own rules using unless or as long as. And here are some examples. Students cannot wear soccer jerseys to school unless the jersey supports Arsenal. Students can arrive late to school as long as they have a good excuse. So go ahead and try that. Make some of your own rules and then create some questions that would go along with those rules. All right, now you can write a dialogue that is a conversation between a teacher and a student. The student will ask if the following things are allowed or not allowed in the classroom, and then you can write the teacher's answers. And then, in addition to these, try to create three of your own questions that are not listed here. So again, just try that on your own for extra practice, and restart the video when you're ready to continue. All right, now you can read the text and answer the questions. You can either pause the video and read on your own or follow along as I read. In some schools, students are required to fill out a pass each time they need to leave the classroom. Students generally receive a specific number of passes for each semester, trimester, or quarter. When a student needs to use the restroom, they can pull out their pass sheet and fill it out with the date, class, and reason for using the pass. Once a student uses all their passes, they must wait until the next marking period to receive more. All right, so what is another word for bathroom? Well, that would be restroom. What should a student do when they have to use the bathroom? So they can pull out their pass sheet and fill it out. What information needs to be included on the pass sheet? The date, class, and reason for using the pass. What is a marking period? That would be the amount of time that when grades are calculated, so generally a semester, a trimester, or a quarter. And what happens when a student uses all their passes? They have to wait until the next marking period to receive more. And does your school have semesters, trimesters, or quarters? Most of the schools I went to had semesters. When I was in university, I went to a school that had quarters. But semesters, at least in the US, are probably the most common. All right, and so sometimes you need to ask for permission at other places too, not just in school. So what might these teenagers want permission to do? So here, looks like maybe she's asking for permission to use the car. Here, maybe to get a puppy. Um, this one, I'm not sure. It maybe has something to do with a phone. Um, Here, the student or the daughter might be asking for money, and here maybe to go on a trip with friends. So you can write some questions to show how each of these teenagers would ask for what they want. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, and if you have any questions, please put those in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.